My name's Aaron. Welcome back to my channel. How are you? I'm fantastic and I'm doing really well. And today I'm reviewing Oud Rosewood by Christian Dior. 115 for 40ml, 225 for 125ml, 320 for 250ml, and if you love it, 410 for 450ml. The notes are raspberry, quince. I've never seen that in a fragrance before. Quince, sandalwood, animal notes, argwood, and rosewood. Do we have our bottles of Oud Rosewood? Are we engaged with our higher self? Let's get testing. So this was recommended after the Oud Ispahan. I can't pronounce it. If you recommend stuff, I will review it. So when it said animal notes, I'm expecting a lot of the ambergris sort of raw materials within it to give it that animal note. If it was too animalistic, it would be sort of unwearable. I think these sort of fragrances always need to be wearable. Radiant, clean, bright, amber-based, musk-heavy, elegant, soft. This is radiant off my skin, which is very, very difficult to do. I love Dior. I think they're an exceptional house. Their Perfumer created some really great work. Everything which I've tested, correct me if I'm wrong, I've really liked, and I think it's been super, super radiant, super clean, just super wearable. I think it smells like Dior, this. This is great. The sandalwood, the cedarwood, the smokiness of the glasswood is giving it it's just sort of working with kind of really what I wanted. Balsams and geranium. And that's kind of the base of it. And I was talking yesterday to one of my members of staff about when you create a fragrance, you work on the backbone, and the naturals really give it the flavor and the energy and kind of what you're really kind of what you want. This you would not want sweetened, not sweetened with ethyl maltol. The citruses would give sweetness. You want a lot of wood compounds. The backbone to absolutely be iso super. Other aroma chemicals within the ambergris-like family. Ionones to help give it that violet wood feel. Ionone compounds, which is mainly the alpha and the beta. There are other ionones that generally what you get industrially. The alpha ionone is the violet, floral violet, and the beta ionone goes in a woody violet direction. I think they're really hard to work with. They're unpalatable to smell on their own, but in a formulation they're indispensable. And the violet ionone working with the animal notes is giving this feel within the formulation. And Bretellide is giving that clean, metallic feel in combination with ambroxan, in combination with other amber raw materials, really detecting the amber, the vibrancy, and that is the core of this. Fruit molecules are essential when you're working with oud, and there are lots of types of oud. I did a video on the oud, and oud is a really complex raw material. You deal with aerobic and anaerobic fermentation, you deal with fermenting in different types of metal, all gives a different feel. The more animalistic oud is generally aerobic. I think the fecal note is the bacteria breaking down and creating sulfurous compounds. And it's actually the cheapest because they just do it without anything to create a vacuum. The ouds that I like are anaerobic, without oxygen, and the bacteria cannot get it. And you get more of a smoother balsam feel to it. Oud is, I believe, one of the most expensive raw materials. It's crazy expensive. I've personally been dealing with the same farmer since I started buying it, and I don't buy wild oud either. It takes a long time to farm the trees. I think the trees take between 10 and 20 years. I think it's 20 years, and you have to infect the trees with fungus, which means you drill a hole and infect it with fungus. The immune response of the trees creates like a balsam within the wood. We have some of the wood with the oud in the factory. That is then taken down, chopped, and then dealt with. It's a very expensive, labor-intensive raw material, but the effect is very sensual. I think I love oud. I really love working with it. I think it's a very exciting raw material, and it's insanely difficult to get right. You have to support oud with other wood aroma chemicals, because on its own, I don't think it's palatable. I know some people like wearing it. You have to support it. And there are a plethora of wood compounds, Bangalore sandalwood, they're softer, Javanol, Nolimbinol, all those things can, in an accord, help to support the oud. But as I was saying, the fruit raw materials and coumarin just helps to create the feeling of like a date or a dark fruit, something like that. And that supports the oud and just helps to soften it and round it slightly. Muscone is essential when dealing with oud, I think, because you soften it. It's quite unpalatable and you need to soften it. Lily of the Valley raw materials are essential when dealing with oud because you are supporting it, showing it off its full potential, which is incredibly important. And that's what's happening with this formulation. On to my final thoughts. I really like this. I think it's expertly created. It dries down so beautiful. And you get that initial sort of like oud and metallic core of it. The naturals at the base, and it's supported with wood compounds expertly. Radiant, clean, dry, metallic, animalistic in the ambroxan way, not in a civet or a castoreum way, which was unpalatable, I think. Clean, sweet, fruity, spicy. So I'm going to go through my final marks and my final thought processes. Christian Dior, very professional house, safe, legal, compliant. That's what I love to see, which means it's safe for you to wear. The technical aspect, this is just superb, really amazing. I love the oud, this I really like as well. Projection longevity is super fantastic. As I move my hand, I'm getting beautiful sillage. So this is just everything I want from a fragrance. The price is excelente, perfectly priced. These raw materials are expensive. You can make oud accords, which lowers the price, but when using oud, it has a resonance to it. It's been handled expertly. It is similar in some aspects in the way it's sort of like radiating off my skin to the other oud, but this is really totally different. I love this. I'm going to mark it a 10. I think it's absolutely ticks all the boxes, and I think it's excellent. I would absolutely wear this. Clean, sweet, beautiful. The occasion, I think it's a signature scent. I don't think you'd want to wear it in hotter weather. I think it smells elegant, refined. It's just beautiful perfumery. I think it's a good starting oud, actually. On the dry down, it's lovely. And the dry down, it's beautiful. It has enough sweetness and lightness and effervescence to be great. And some ouds can be unpalatable. This, I think, is really palatable. I love the sweetness to it and the roundness to it. I think it's excellent. So hope you love that review. Thumbs up and subscribe for more fascinating, interesting content. Lots of moving hands and lots of fragrance views. Hope you're staying safe and well. See you soon.